Welcome everybody. Hello. Oh, you thought you could beat me to it? Is that what we're doing?
I wanted to be first.
Oh yeah. Well, here's a little secret, right? I always bring the camera in on myself, and on top of that, I have you muted until about 5 seconds in. Yeah, because it's not. Listen, you're looking at me like it's personal. It's not, because if I had you unmuted, it would play the song twice. And it's like extra loud and out of sync too, so it just sounds echoey and strange. So I have to mute the regular speaker channel. So, but if you want it to be personal, I can make it seem that way for sure. I could have just said that in a cutting way.
Oh my god!
You know,
oh my god!
You think you know somebody to try to start shit?
Start a beef. Oh shit! We start a beef. Have sides and shit. And then we get back together.
Yeah, our audience of 50 subscribers will split that in half.
Yeah,
we'll go to war.
Yeah, Team Christian, Team Lorenzo.
Yeah,
Christian knows what he did.
It'll be like that dumb manufactured Twix feud.
Oh my god!
That everybody cared about. Did you take a side on that?
I didn't, but I like that I like the divide.
So you fell for the marketing scheme then, is what you're saying?
It was good. They did a good job. That's the thing. I admire good marketing. I'm like, they deserve that. Sometimes people deserve it, you know?
Yeah, well, we'll see what side of the Twix argument our guest here is. I don't want to wait any longer. We have somebody in the bedroom with us. I think I blew the lead there. I put him on the screen a little too early, but so he's been patient and quiet, and that's what matters. We have in studio bedroom Mr. CJ Coleman with us, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? How's everyone doing?
Everyone, I'm sure, is doing all right, because
I hope so.
They're not listening to the podcast like they should be. People, I like to say that at the top, please, if you haven't already, subscribe, and just be here, be present. Or I don't know, unlike Lorenzo, again, on his phone, eating most of the time. Don't be like Lorenzo. Maybe I'm just gonna pick fights from now on.
I'm all down. I'm down for the beef. Let's see it. Or we should set up a celebrity boxing match between you two.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that would just be a boxing match. Actually, it's a technical term for an event like that.
We're celebrities. Fuck it, we're celebrities.
Oh, you think so? Well,
people know it. We know it. We all know it.
Well, I don't know who does, because again, they're not subscribed. So please make that happen at the top here.
Hey, Muhammad Ali said he was the heavyweight champ before he ever became the heavyweight champ. So you can say you're a celebrity before you're a celebrity.
Well, Lorenzo's been saying he's a god since the day he was born. So he's got
he's got high dreams.
Yeah, high aspirations there. So CJ, what's going on, man? We met at the Electric Palm, if I'm not mistaken. You're still there, right? You're still going to that mic?
Yeah, that's like my home base. I love going to that mic. Love what Dwayne does, how he does it, really.
Mm-hmm. And you said he's putting you on a showcase in March, right? We were talking off mic.
Yeah, March 8th. I will be performing at the Electric Palm for my first 10-minute set. So.
Woo! There we go. I don't know why I'm clapping. Let me get
because there's nobody else is.
There we go. We got the sound effect going. We did it. No, that's awesome. So that's your first 10-minute set then. Wow.
Yeah.
It seems, or to me, it seemed intimidating at first. But then you get up there, and with an audience of people who are like paying to be there and to enjoy it, I feel like a good 3 or 4 minutes of that just turns into crowd work, and then you just do your regular material, and it's over before you know it, really.
See, I'm brutal with crowd work, so that's what worries me, because like crowd, like especially at the riffs he does on Wednesdays. It's like on the spot. I'm like, I don't know what's funny about this, but I'll say something weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I try not to make it my focus, and I'm not brutal or anything like you said you are. You know, I just I'll make observations about people like in the front row or people who are clearly not paying attention, or I just want to engage as many people as possible. So I'll just say something off cuff or whatever and divert from my like memorized material, and then like I said, I mean it'll just turn into 3-4 minutes of that sometimes, and not all at once. I don't mean to say like I'm taking a 3-minute break at one time, but I mean all throughout my 5-minute set, I'm making remarks about other people, or I'm adding tags to jokes based on people in the audience.
You start feeling yourself a little bit.
Exactly.
You start branching out. Yeah.
So it comes and goes when you're on stage, even if it's 10-15 minutes. And I took over for Brandon Moore for one night because I was supposed to do it all month. And that's why you're here, incidentally, is to talk about what happened there and why I'm not assisting with Brandon's last laugh mic in Woodbridge at the moment. But I did that for one night and nobody showed up, right? It was just me, my boyfriend, Brandon's producers, YCC Entertainment, Nelson and Marcus, Zeus Media, and Jenner Coker. I don't know if you met Jenner. He goes to the Woodbridge mic sometimes, but he's all the way out in like Dulles. So I mean, he's a trooper for coming out to support me at my debut hosting this fucking empty mic. But I was up there just killing time for 30-40 minutes at a time, just waiting for somebody to fucking show up. And it flew by. It did not feel like I was straining. I mean, it might not have passed as a great performance if there was an audience, but we were all having fun there and laughing together. So
as long as you get laughs, nothing else matters. Pretty
much. And so would you say you're comfortable? Do you have 10 ready to go, locked and loaded?
I definitely have. I have over 10 minutes of material, but making it a cohesive set is what I'm struggling with right now.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, just trying to string it all together?
Yeah.
That's a problem for me sometimes too, and I'll just have like the worst segue or like the shittiest transition to the next section. Like, speaking of blank, how about me hitting people with my car?
Oh, I like the way you do it though, because it catches people off guard, and I feel like
that's a device in itself. Yeah, to just like.
But you're like, what?
Yeah. Where did that come from? It's like a left hook out of nowhere. So, but I do try to make a theme when I do a big long thing, and I have a thing coming up. Well, so I'm going to be there on February 9th. I just got an email about that, so that'll be my first showcase at the Electric Ballroom with them. So, but same thing, 8 to 10 minute spot, and. Yeah, I think I pretty much have a solid theme for 10 minutes, but then outside of that for 15, 20, I'm reaching to all types of different jokes.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to make it make sense, to fuse everything together. So what kinds of jokes are you trying to...
So since it's so far out, I'm thinking about like trying to get away from the material I've used already and trying a whole new set. But... the jokes that I've ran there that have worked, a lot of it is about me not getting any pussy, really.
Nice.
I don't know if I can say that on the mic.
No, you can say whatever you want.
I know that's what you were going to say. Like, once you said me not getting any, immediately in my head, I was like, pussy.
Yeah. You can tell. It doesn't really need an introduction.
Come on.
But like those
I don't get pussy either. I want to make that clear. I don't know why.
Yeah, weird.
Oh man, but that's good. So, are you trying to figure out how to string all the stories of you chasing tail together, or is it you going from that to different themes?
It's more of like I don't want to be the guy who gets up there and they're like, oh, he's a He-Man woman hater. He's just up here, he's shitting on women, and it's
that's a big risk.
That's it's not one, it's not gonna help me get any pussy, and two, it makes me look like shit. So but they were also jokes that worked. So that's kind of what I'm struggling with. It's like, do I do what works, or do I do something different?
You can find the endearing angle to that, though, and I'm sure you do at times, right? Where it's just like, you can feel bad for me, but understand I don't feel bad for myself. That's why I'm up here making fun of it.
Yeah, dude. Like my idea is like, it's my job to make them want to fuck me, and if I can't succeed at that, then it's not their fault. I'm not up there like, this is your fault. I can't, like, I'm not going around like upset about it, but it can come off like that.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad it's coming together. I'll try and be there myself. I don't have anything out in March that I know of yet. I'm probably going to try to put a show together with M. Fisk at Cheers Comedy in DC over in Cleveland Park. I always include links to those shows in the description, so please check the description of wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Spotify, and get tickets to M's shows. But I'll be helping with her hopefully again in February and then onward, but I don't have anything booked. So March 8th, you said? March 8th? Okay. I'll be on the lookout. And go to Dwayne White's Facebook and Instagram, folks, and you can usually find ticket links to those showcases at the Electric Palm in Woodbridge. So it's your job to make them want to fuck you, is what
100%.
Okay. Yeah. For some reason, I made it my job to entice the Commonwealth of Virginia to fuck me recently. That's what brings us here together.
They always had the eye on you.
Yeah.
Like the Commonwealth is like the creepy old man at the bar, and he's just like watching everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like he was eyeing you from the
bar. Oh, for real. He was getting ready to buy me a drink and wave me over.
You got up ready to leave. He was like, "Oh, let me walk you to your car."
Thankfully, Bill Cosby didn't get anywhere near me. Not that I could remember anyway. I did wake up the next day sore.
Pudding pop in your mouth?
With a pudding pop in my mouth. Oh, sore beyond repair. I don't know. So for those of you that may or may not know, for the last several months I've been in and out of court on a case that had been continued a couple times already, a DUI case against me because I crashed my last car into a fence only minutes away from my home. And it's funny enough, you might not have been able to see it, but because it might have been too dark when you drove here, but there's a fence on the right side of the road on the way over here that's got like a brand new patch in it. It looks totally different from the rest of the fence. That's where I totaled my car, where I ran off the road, off of Hope Road.
So you totaled it?
The insurance company decided to total it out and just pay me for the cost of the car. I could have repaired it, but the repair costs would have outnumbered the cost of just selling the car for parts altogether. So that's what we did, and I got a new car. It's basically like starting from scratch on the new loan, but other than that, things were going smoothly. I was very proactive about it. Paid the homeowner the cost of fence repair and everything in that same day. We got it all worked out. It was private property that I crashed into, and I was not at the scene of the crash when the officer arrived. I had walked home because I was so close to my house. I walked all the way here and to get help from my mom, and I must have crashed sometime after midnight. It's all pretty foggy to me even still, and that's what I told the officer when I was brought back to the crash site. But I believed that I fell asleep driving because I had been up for like a 48-hour period.
So you left, and then did you call the police, or did somebody?
I didn't call the police. The homeowner came out and saw my car stranded there and called the police, or somebody saw a car on the side of the road and called. I'm not entirely sure who placed the initial 911 call, but a police officer did get to the scene around 4:30 or 5 in the morning and assessed the accident, and then I was brought back to the area. And I had called my friend too. I called my friend Cameron, who I had been spending time with the night prior, and that's when I had been drinking.
Yeah.
We were drinking maybe starting at like 8 p.m. the day before, and then we ended at a bar where I didn't drink anything, but I did have something to eat. And then from that bar in Woodbridge, went back to Stafford. I dropped him off at his house, and then I went home, and that's when I fell asleep driving back to my house at around, like I said, around midnight or 1 a.m. it must have been. So all of that being what it was, when the officer got there, he walked me through a few field sobriety tests, and he gave me the opportunity to blow into the lovely.
Did you blow?
I did blow into that.
Never blow.
And that's really where I fucked up. Never blow. That sound advice. Never blow, because when I blew there, I blew like a .08 something, which is like right on the line. But that's inadmissible in court. And what they go off of is what you blow down at the police station on the stationary device, and that's when I blew a .062 or some shit like that. So, and which is under the legal limit. The legal limit is .08 in the state of Virginia and in most places. So, thankfully, that was my saving grace, is that they could not place me in the car at the scene of the accident. Right. Mm-hmm. So who's to say I was even driving? I didn't admit anything other than I couldn't remember what had happened, and I thought I fell asleep at some point. On body cam footage, I didn't admit to practically anything. I mean, this is open and shut. This is my first driving offense ever, right? I do not have a criminal record of any kind. This could have easily been dismissed or chalked up to a reckless driving.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they should have given you, is a reckless driving, especially since you weren't there. Like you could have sat there and been like, my car must have been stolen sometime in the night, and just lied through your teeth through the whole thing.
Now, where I will say where I messed up is also I called Cameron, my friend, who I'd been out with the night prior, because I was out of it, and I wanted to tell him I'd crashed my car. But what he did was he came to the scene of the accident. The officer sees that here's this guy off on the side of the road waiting around. He wants to question everybody there, and he decides to start questioning my friend, who just opens his mouth and goes,
Yeah, the police aren't your friends.
Script.
Like, for anybody listening, the police are not your friends. Don't answer any questions without a lawyer present, regardless of whether you did something or they're asking you about an event that occurred.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Cameron. We've had him on the podcast. He's more than welcome to come back and recount the events as he sees them unfolding, but by all accounts, it did really fuck me. And so, I want to make that clear. It was not. And we really, it would have been a much smoother ride if I didn't get fucked in the ass like that. But hey, it is what it is. So that happens in June of this year, and in and out of court, like I said, for a few months, because the state kept continuing it until they could get some sort of alcohol forensic expert there to testify against me. They thought, okay, we get this alcohol specialist in here. He'll look at the facts of the case as they unfolded, factoring in his alcohol content level at the police station, and we could build a strong enough case to charge him with DUI.
Yeah, because I'm sure that when they brought him there, the expert said that your blood alcohol content had to be this high because it had been so many hours since the accident, and if it occurred between the hours of, like, say 1 and 2, and then they brought you back at 5 or 6, and you still blew a .06, he's probably saying that you would have blown at the time .12 or something like that. Now,
you would think that didn't even come up.
Really?
They just asked this guy about what my alcohol content at the time blowing into the mobile device, everything. At the time of me being at the scene, being questioned by the officer, what my alcohol content suggested as relates to my completion of the field sobriety tests. They were like, the officer testified first, explained everything. He walked me through, and then they brought up the alcohol guy next to be like, okay, so that everything the officer described, was that consistent with a drunk person or with someone who was under the influence of alcohol? And they've talked about
Dude, fuck that eye thing, because that's another thing that shouldn't, like, in most places in Virginia too, that isn't a real test. That shit doesn't even fucking, like, that doesn't matter.
And I would figure too, with my saying how tired I was and how I'd literally been up for 2 straight days. I maybe had like one nap between 2 days for like a couple hours, because my friend Cameron was visiting from Vegas, and I wanted to make the most of the last couple of days we had together. So we pulled like an all-nighter the day before, pretty much. And I was so fucking tired that I fell asleep driving. And I had wondered, well, wouldn't the effects or my cognition be just as impaired or impaired in a similar manner to being under the effects of alcohol?
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't that be a viable testimony or substitute for that? I don't know terms and shit, so if I sound retarded, it's because I am. I want to make that clear up at the top.
Did you pay for a lawyer?
I fucking paid for this lawyer, man. And I want to make this clear too. Every time I say I paid for something, my father paid for it. And I want to make that very clear. I don't have any money. You think this equipment is free? You think I am broke. I stay in a state of perpetual brokedom. And my dad was kind enough, because he felt bad about everything, and this was my first offense, and he's co-signed on my car loan and shit. I mean, we have a great relationship, and he had the money, he had enough savings that he was willing to pay for the cost of, again, the fence repair, pay for a lawyer, pay for anything he needed to do to prevent me from getting charged with a DUI. Really, and that's all it came down to. It's like, let's just get you through this on the other side, and then we could talk about a payment plan or paying me back and all that shit, right? He paid for a lawyer who turned out to be just the worst possible waste of money I could have ever imagined. I've never wasted more money than or my dad, more of my dad's money than I have on this dumb cunt, this utterly unprepared, I'm getting red in the face even thinking, and she seemed like a nice enough lady, right? She seemed like she knew what she was doing. She kept reassuring us that this would be dismissed, or that if they continued it more than twice, we could get a dismissal. That the alcohol person hadn't shown up twice now. He wasn't going to show up. The third, my fourth appearance in court, the third continuance, whatever it was, I show up. The Commonwealth's attorney decides to try it that day. And I had seen maybe 2 different judges up to that point, and this was a totally different judge. So this is the third judge I had seen in the general district court, or the traffic court, whatever the fuck it is. And this guy was just the oldest, crustiest motherfucker. He had a hearing aid. It was not looking good. Like, this is a Bible book, fucking crusty old piece of shit, octogenarian. Just go die already. You know, one of those.
Chewing on Metamucil.
Oh my God, if he could, right? He probably had a diaper on. He easily could have shit himself 3 to 4 times across all the people there and all the cases he had to hear. I mean, it was just a disaster. Because so immediately they'd say they want to try it. The attorney starts off by calling again the officer up. Then the judge is like, I can't hear you. You're gonna have to speak up. And he catches on. Then it's my lawyer's turn to cross-examine the fucking officer, and she's just frantically up to that point she had just been writing on this fucking notepad. like taking notes, I guess, for the cross-examination. I didn't realize that was just she was totally unprepared, and that was her trying to get her bearings and get like any sort of thought together to go to trial. Like, isn't there a way to just say like we're not prepared and we can't do this right now? Why do you think you have to like scramble right now in the moment to defend me? Right? That's so. That was what it was. I had no idea what was going on. You know, I'm taking my lawyer's advice, and I'm getting nothing. And here we are in the middle of this now trial, right? And so when she gets up after the officer says his piece, and she goes, "So you said you administered something called a line test? Is that right?" To the officer, and he goes, "Yes, ma'am." And she goes, "Where'd you administer this? Because you said also that the accident occurred on a hill, didn't you?" And he said, "Well, yeah, the accident occurred on a hill, but the Mr. Balmer, the defendant, was not performing this test on that hill. We did it on flat ground." And then she goes back again, "But you said the accident occurred on a hill." And they're going back and forth maybe like 2 or 3 times on just this one point.
Did you do the line test on a hill?
Well, so I'm thinking, okay, this bitch is cooking, all right? She's got something here. I don't know what tactic this is, but it seems like she's trying to, you know, call into question the validity of this one test. And she goes, "Was this a line that was drawn on the road, like painted on the road or something my defendant or my client could see?" And he goes, "Well, no, it was an imaginary line that I drew for him, that I showed him what to walk." And she goes, "Oh, okay. And did you do this on the road itself, or was it on gravel?" And he goes, "I was on gravel on the side of the road, I suppose." And she goes, "Oh, would you consider gravel to be flat ground?" And he goes, "Yes, flat as any. It's gravel, I would say so." And the officer's kind of getting irritated at this, and I'm kind of sitting back like, okay, sure, whatever. But also I'm realizing, okay, she's going a little too deep into this one point. We're not really exploring any of the other tactics used here, or any of the other, like, that I wasn't at the scene of the accident. Mm-hmm. None of like the prescient details of the crime scene that we could be, you know. But she's really hitting home. Oh, but he was doing it on gravel, and this is one of like 3 or 4 tests. So there's all that. I'm trying to speed through this as best I can from memory. But after that, then they bring up the alcohol expert. And the alcohol expert really drills home that based on how the officer described my condition after performing each of the tests, he said my eyes they looked to be bloodshot, and they looked like they were doing the fucking what do you call it? Is it like an astigmatism thing or stigmatic? It's some dumb fucking eye doctor term for your eyes being shaky and unable to follow an object in front of them, right?
But you had just woken up, hadn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, see, like, that's all reasons for your eyes
all
to be
reasons for my
like
eyes
that.
to be behaving strangely. And so I'm like, okay, well, this bitch is going to bring up that I was tired, because that's what I've said a billion times up to this point, is that I had maybe 2 hours of sleep across 48 hours. This has been consistent from moment one. No, not at any point during. She decides to ask him just a couple offhand questions about the science behind it. Or no, she asked him for his credentials, is what my lawyer decides to do. She was like, "Where did you get your qualification at?" And it's like, that's good to know that he trained in fucking Richmond or some shit. What does that what does that help me any to call into question? Of course he's certified. Of course he's credible. That's why they've waited 2 fucking months to call him, to wait for this one guy. And I'll say, even before we get there, that, and I'm sorry to go off, we have a wonderful guest here. It's just like,
oh, dude, I'm here for this shit. I live for it, dude.
And this is fucking insane. And then I want to get into your stuff to hear what could happen with you, because I'm sure that's its own fucking wild roller coaster. But before that, so the officer's up there. To back up, when the officer was testifying, my lawyer leans over to me to whisper something, and she goes, "He's here." And I thought she was going to consult me to talk about, what's coming up next, or, and then I look behind, and it's the alcohol guy getting there. This is some unforeseen moment of the entire trial. At any point, at no point had she prepared for the possibility of this guy actually even showing up. She totally had written it off, and so that's when I knew all the shit she was writing down and everything. That was her like panicking and like freaking out, because when she leaned over to me and said that, I was like, oh, that's what this is. Okay, you're just totally fucking.
You're just
stupid.
Bullshitting your way through this.
Like clearly. So he gets up, she questions him on his credentials. It effectively means nothing, and then after that, the judge says, I find the facts sufficient and enough to find you guilty of driving under the influence. 30 days jail sentence commuted, but then all the other fines and everything I've got to pay, and then I've got to go to VASAP now classes, which I have to pay for, and I want to say that I legally have to get this ignition interlock device. I think that's a part of the terms of it, which you're saying now I have to pay a monthly fee for, which I was not aware of. I don't even know how much it's going to cost to install. They couldn't even tell me when I went down to the alcohol area safety program office, because it's like an outside vendor I have to order it through. Yeah, this shit is so crazy. It's like the craziest fucking racket. It's unlike anything I could have imagined. But
I know someone that had one. And
had one or currently?
They used to have one. That was a while ago. Luckily, they don't have it no more. But I forget how long it was. But yeah, and I went with them to one of their little appointments to like check in for this shit or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
So it's like on house arrest, you gotta pay that shit weekly. I think it's the same for that shit. I think that's also weekly. You gotta check in. You gotta blow into that bitch to start it. You can't use mouthwash with alcohol, nothing.
Yeah, no hand sanitizer, fucking.
Nope.
Jesus.
Nothing. And then that bitch is you're gonna have to blow it at least like 3 more times, like every 5 minutes or some shit, to keep the car going.
What?
That motherfucker gonna shut down. Yeah. Or I don't know if they all different. And then I heard that they put cameras in them now, because back in the day you could have someone else blow into it. I heard they putting cameras in them bitches, so your ass got blow into it. That's just what I heard though.
Yeah, I think you're on the money with that one. I've heard that people. I haven't had one personally in my car, which is a shock. You'll find out in a little bit. But I've heard that they put cameras in there so they can see who's blowing into it.
Because I would never do it, but I had a dream. You know, one day I had a dream one time that I was blowing someone else's shit, but it was just a dream. I've never done that in real life.
You know, if you're willing to do that for your boy, props to you. But like at that point, why aren't you driving if you're sober and can blow into it and they're not? You know.
I don't like driving. And my dreams know that I don't like driving.
So you see this thing? Was this what it looked like in your dream? The thing that you had hands on?
Yeah, basically.
It's that exact model.
Wow.
You gotta blow into that shit a certain way. It's like you gotta like breathe in and like it's a certain way you gotta blow into that shit. It's so fucking complicated for no reason. Yeah. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god.
So I think as part of my sentence or whatever, I have to get one of these. I don't even think it's an option. Which is, again, we're talking about just everything's fines, everything's fees. This is just a big cash grab. This is like a self-fulfilling cash cycle.
Yeah, right. Dude, you're supporting the Commonwealth of Virginia and their spending problem.
Oh, seriously. I got fined $300. Right. That was the fine outlined in my guilty verdict, and I ended up paying $550 somehow between court costs and fines.
Yeah, like what is the court cost? Like, what does that mean? I would like an itemized list of court costs. Like,
and then there's a convenience fee for doing it with card instead of cash. That's where that's the funniest part is that's where my dad lost his mind. Because again, please, every time I say I'm paying for it's my father paying for it. It's not me. So he had to come in to the little clerk's office with his credit card, and they go, "Oh, there's like a surcharge fee or like a convenience fee for the card. It's an additional like $25 or whatever." And he goes, "Are you kidding me?" This is my dad. Like you could see him, like he was tapping his foot or whatever, and just like crossing his arms, waiting to pay. And then as soon as he heard that, he's like, "Okay, so you have an ATM, right?" Like, because I'm gonna get cash. I'm gonna go get cash. This is ridiculous.
I'm going to Walmart.
And the little clerks are looking at each other like, "No, we don't have an ATM in here. There's one." Like the Wawa down the street that's free. It's like, I'm not gonna go drive over there to get cash to come back to pay this fine. You should have cash here if you're gonna charge me extra to pay with a card for a convenience fee. Like what? And so I could see him just getting irate, and I just kind of like looked down.
He's about to catch a case.
Yeah, seriously. And he's like there in a suit and shit, and losing his mind.
Oh my god, it's a huge scam. But let me tell you, one time y'all know how SUVs have the little people call it the Cyclops light. It's the little light at the top. It don't do shit for nobody. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I got pulled over. So they say that's why they pulled me over. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. They said because first off, when they pulled me over, they didn't tell me why they pulled me over. And then I was like, "Why y'all pull me over?" They was like, "Cause your brake light out." So I checked this shit. I'm like, because I had someone in the car with me. I was like, "Hey, yo, step on the brakes for me." My 2 brake lights in the back is working, and I know because I back in the spots. We just left a fucking waiting spot, and I saw the fucking brake lights in the window, in the glass. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But then it's like, there is a possibility the shits could have went out right after I left the spot. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
this shit always happens at fucking nighttime, and it could easily be "Hey, your shit's out, get fixed in the morning," because it's like, bitch, it's like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Where am I supposed to go to fucking get it fixed? Fucking dumbasses. But anyway, yeah, son.
Any excuse they can, and that's what I keep hearing is like cops are looking for shit to do right now. This is the season of them looking for any excuse to pull you over.
And they got a quota.
Yeah,
so,
and the quotas. So
they get bonuses and shit. But nah, bro, I didn't get a ticket. But I got a court date. I paid like $300-something in court fees.
What?
But I didn't get no ticket. It's a whole scam, the whole thing, son.
Yeah.
And I think I got a warrant because I didn't show up. The
segment, I think I got a warrant.
But the warrant's like $50. I done had a bunch of them. It's like $50. That's whatever. So outside of that, the rest was just some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had to pay $300 and I ain't even have, you know what I'm saying?
That's what no one explains. I mean, like, people make a big deal about, and I'm going off on, your cat knocked up your shitty
No, that was me.
That was you? Okay.
No, I'm gonna blame it on.
I saw your camera go black. I thought the ops got you. I thought they broke in. His cat knocks over his webcam all the time. It just happened to be right when he was divulging that he has outstanding warrants. But,
like he said it, we got him.
We can go in, boys. No, but people make a big deal about like people evading warrants and court dates and shit, but nobody ever you never see all kinds of press about just like the outrageous fees and fines and what they're for. I mean, when I was looking at the receipt after the guilty verdict, when I was looking at the receipt for, I'm like, what is this foundation I'm donating $50 as part of my fucking, or what is there's like, there was like 10 sections to this bill of other expenses and shit. I'm like, what does that have to do with any part of this?
How are you about to charge me more? Yes. Because you ordered me to come here and said you'll throw me in jail if I don't. Like, come on now. Like, I wouldn't be here paying these fines if you didn't tell me I had to be here.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Just make the fucking the damn make the initial fine that expensive. Why tag on all this other bullshit? And why does it have to be there to begin with? And why is this the avenue for those to get funded? I don't understand how that began. I would love to do a whole deep dive into all that at some point, just like to investigate what are these shell dumbass fucking foundations that are solely funded by people's traffic incidents. But so no, I was going to say before I even left the courtroom to the little clerk's office in the hall to the side to pay for everything. Before we left, the judge asked me if I wanted to say anything. After he read off everything that he found me guilty and everything, he asked if I had any sort of remarks, and I just went, I wish my attorney and I had the opportunity to ask the alcohol expert if any of the effects of being under the influence were consistent with those of being tired or sleep deprived because I'd been up for a 48-hour period. I wish, and just like outlining everything I wanted my attorney to have asked. And the judge basically looks at me and he goes, I'm not the person to ask that. And looks like the alcohol experts left. So maybe, that for next time, but essentially is what he said. I'm like, fuck you, man. Fuck this whole process. Fuck. What I wish I knew at the time was that I could have appealed right then and there or something to get, or just on the grounds of that I had god-awful representation.
Yeah, your counsel wasn't prepared. I can't believe they didn't bring that up, and I can't believe they didn't file for an agreement before that, because like
a deal, something. Yes,
like they could have easily gone to the Commonwealth and been like, listen, this is the second time the dude hasn't shown up. My guy's been here. We're wasting their time. Would you settle this with the reckless driving and VA SAP classes?
Oh my god!
Like,
that's what I assumed would happen.
That's what she assumed would happen. But come find out she's not doing any of the fucking work.
Yeah. She has to mention that to them. Yes. That's on her.
It's not just some automatic thing that falls into place like that. Like she was making it seem like it's going to magically get waved away, and that if he doesn't show up again, we're good. Okay, the guy shows up. What's the course of action beyond this? You shitting yourself next to me, pretending like everything's fine, and then 5 minutes later, I have to pay all these fucking fines, and now I'm out of a license for an entire year. Which if I haven't said already, that was the punishment, whatever, is I have a restricted driver's license for a calendar year as of my last court date, as of the fucking sentencing. No jail time, like I said, commuted, whatever. All the fines.
I'd put money on your commissary.
You said what?
I'd have put money on your commissary.
Oh, thank you.
I'd have sent you some soups.
Thank you. Oh, well, you're better than me. I don't think I sent you anything, did I? No, I would have killed myself in jail. But I mean, it's
cool.
Yeah,
it's peaceful.
There's people. Good. There's people to talk to. That's all I need. I can do a podcast in jail. Is what you're saying? It's a big racket. I'm beyond pissed, and appealing it at this point, which I have a few more days to do that if I want to. It's going to cost way more money. I mean, the lawyer was over $2,000. I want to say, and look what that did. I would have to get another lawyer to start that process.
We should do a GoFundMe.
Do a GoFundMe, yeah.
Tonight. We gotta do it right after this. Share with all our friends, the three of us.
I mean, without that, I don't see any silver lining in trying again. I'll just eat the costs right now and then deal with it. But if I hadn't been fined as much as I did, on top of already paying as much as we did for a lawyer, maybe. But it's just not. And that's what this is designed to do. I mean, if you're not filthy fucking rich, it's just designed, all these fines are designed to keep you from trying again and getting shit overturned or getting shit reduced.
That's the shit.
It's a fucking gamble.
I forget how it goes exactly, but it's like most laws are only for like poor people, or you know what I'm saying. Laws aren't for the wealthy. Wealthy, they just throw out some money that they got is whatever, you know what I'm saying. But us, all of us, regular ass people, that shit, you know what I'm saying. We're victims to laws because laws are created in order for them to make money. You know what I'm saying, and we don't have enough money to fight back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a GTA cheat code, you know. Like if you have all the money, then yeah, you can go out and you can drunk drive and just pay them however much they want.
Yep. Get 5 stars, pay that bitch off, and you good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yep. Got the choppers and all looking for your ass. They about to blow your ass up with the tank. The fucking general called. He gave us a fucking extremely generous donation. Let them cook. Matter of fact, escort them home, tanks and all. Yeah.
So that's pretty much the synopsis. It's all said and done. That was the resolution, and I had it here, or I thought I did. Oh yeah, I minimized it because I didn't want to just put it on the screen. But I'll read this off. You can probably see it, Lorenzo. But here was the a summary of the resolution by my attorney. Dear Christian Balmer, she misspelled my first name. Lovely. In the letter. That's, can I just say, just shout out to how fucking incompetent my fucking lawyer was. She can't even spell my name right. And let me go back before I even read this. Oh, I haven't read this until now. I'm reading this for the first time. I want this to be case in point. How dumb as fuck my lawyer was. Look at this. Can I put this on the screen? Is there anything on here that's going to get me fucked? I guess other than my address. Fuck. I really want to put it on the screen. I'll do it right here. Great.
Oh my God.
All right. Oh fuck. Give me just one second. Yeah, here we go. It's on the screen now. Okay, but before we even delve into this, I want to say my lawyer's closing argument was what pissed me off to no end. I was clearly red in the face in the courtroom, shaking my head, like palm on my face palm moment, right? I was just, she turns to the judge and to the courtroom and everybody, and goes, I would just like the court to recognize that this is my client's first ever driving offense, and that at the time of the accident he was active duty Army during the arrest. And I'm looking, and then I look around. I'm like, "Who the fuck is she talking about? Who?" And the judge gestures to me and goes, "The judge gestures to me. And he goes, is this true?" And I'm shaking my head. No, I don't know who she's referring to. I was not. And then she turns and she goes, "Well, weren't you? Or no, Marine Corps?" And then she goes, "Marine." He was in the. I go, "No, I was enlisted in the Marine Corps for just basic training, and it was in like 2017. I was not enlisted in any branch of the military during the accident." And at that point, everyone's sympathizing for me, and I could see like the judge, even like from what he could hear with the dumbass hearing aid, that she was way too quiet for the whole time. He's asking her to speak up for the duration of the trial.
The judge was like, "Damn, you paid for this?"
Yeah, no, truly, it was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I could see him like raise his eyebrow and shit at like all this wacky fucking nonsense going on in front of him. But that's how she wrapped everything up, was by misidentifying me as a member of the United States Army. I was so mind blown. I was like, who could she be talking about? Who? She's got to be busy something, because
no, that's no excuse. If you shell out $2,000 for anybody. You're fucking, you better be on point with your shit. I get that, like, these lawyers, they do have a lot of cases. It sounds like she wasn't a trial lawyer, but like they might get a lot of cases. Regardless, I gave you $2,000. You made a promise to me. Your obligation to fulfill that promise is to treat my case like it's your only one at the time.
Exactly. Because the fact of the matter is, like, I know people that represent themselves, and any of us probably could have represented ourselves, but the thing is, it takes time, it takes research. You gotta make sure you're on your shit and saying the right things, and that's why you paid her, because she went to school. She said already know this shit. She said already
should know what the fuck she's doing.
You don't have to do the work. You already paid her. She should have came correct with that shit. She just fucking. it's like when we saw the Haunted Mansion and he just like fake took the pictures. That's what she did with your case.
Oh my God.
Like click, made the quick noises
Look
with
at
her
this
mouth.
shit. She doesn't even know my first fucking name. She can't be bothered to spell that right at the top in the introduction.
Yeah, you should get a lawyer and you should sue the fuck out of this bitch, dude.
And then please is PL capitalized? What is happening here?
You probably have an agreement, a contract that you wrote with your lawyer describing what she was going to do in order to help you with this case. Mm-hmm. And if you can find her in violation of any part of that contract, I bet you can get your $2,000 back. Because it sounds like she didn't do anything that a real lawyer would do.
She couldn't have done shit. She was just hoping on this one little fucking little loophole, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she didn't think the fucker would show up, and then he did, and it threw her whole plan out the window. Oh my God,
there's no backup in place for this?
When she saw that her plan failed, she should have been like, we're not ready. Can we reschedule because that shit happens? They'll do that.
These are all rules I was not privy to. If I knew it was possible to do that, I would have pulled her aside and been like, we're not doing this right now. We're not doing this. Tell them we're not doing this right now.
I know someone that literally said that.
I would have said that if I knew I could do, but she should know because she went to fucking law school for it.
You're playing with my life right now, dude.
My life, my money, my dad's money. So let's read this, and then we'll get on with life. But I've never read this until right now. That's why the typos are making me so unbelievably angry. But
God fucking damn.
Please be advised. Look at I don't know how that happened. Please be advised that on December 12th, 2023, the judge of the General District Court of Stafford County found you guilty of DWI, first offense. The sentence comes with 30 days jail time with 30 days suspended, a fine of $300 plus $214 in court costs. So that's the additional charges, right? That I was talking about. This could, and then the convenience fee. So that was another 20 added on. So this conviction comes with 6 DMV points. I don't know how I knocked those off. I guess starting with these classes that are mandatory. Your license has been suspended for 12 months, effective today, which was 4 days ago as of this recording. The court also imposed restrictions on your license, ignition interlock restriction, and travel to and from ignition interlock facility for monitoring. So it is mandatory that I get this. And all of that, right? I've got to go get it monitored. I'm paying for that monthly monitoring fee or weekly monitoring fee. I got to pay for the installation. It's fun stuff that I don't even know the cost of yet. I have not been informed of what the cost of that would be, no matter who I've asked. They haven't been able to give me a straight answer.
They're like pamphlets, but I've heard that you should do your research because some of them drag you through the mud through fees and stuff. Some people I know of will pay like $200 every time they have to subscribe, and other people will pay like $30. And so like there's going to be some research that you should do to find the best price for it. And I wish I could point you in a direction, but I can't.
No, it's good. That's good to know. Because, again, it's a private vendor situation. So like you're saying, it could be any number of these existing devices or companies that specialize in this device that's sole goal is to just make as much fucking heinous
it's
money
ridiculous that they can tell you to go to somebody who isn't a law enforcement official to impose a restriction on you that was given to you by the law.
I'm supposed to go to a private business that's going to monitor. Okay.
That'd be a good business to get into, though. You serious? Like,
this is an investment opportunity. Holy shit. And that's why there's so many. It's because they realize that this is the state of traffic law, that they're just going to have some Joe Schmo off the street. It's going to be able to open a breathalyzer business.
This is a police state. I have never seen like the police are heavy here.
Oh yeah, you were talking about you're from Manassas, or you're living in Manassas.
Yeah,
you want to talk about cops out there?
Fucking shit, dude.
that turquoise or fucking teal cop car. You see like one of those every 3 or 4 cars, I feel like.
They're hot out there. I don't fuck around out there. They scare me.
And that's the thing about driving to and from work for me now is like I have to really make sure that I'm on my shit, because if one of those fuckers sees me and runs my plates, they're gonna know that I'm subject to this, right? Yeah. And I pass, and there's a shit ton of unmarked cop cars out there too. I don't know if it's all FBI or what, but I mean, fuck. So it's really just no nonsense. And I put out an Instagram story saying I'm going to have to take a break for a couple months, and that's just why. I don't want to take any unnecessary risk right now by driving anywhere, and I certainly don't need anybody to drive me to and from like open mics and stuff, because I don't think that's an entirely great use of someone else's time who's not necessarily participating. But when I get back into business, it'll probably be in February when I have paid shows going on. And that's what but in the meantime, this is what I'm dealing with. So in accordance with Virginia law, all fines and costs must be paid within 90 days. Done. It's already been paid for. The court's website's listed. If for any reason you wish to appeal this matter, you have 10 days. Okay, so again, as of 4 days ago, so I have about 6 days left. It was my pleasure to assist you with your legal matter. If you have any questions pertaining to this matter, please do not hesitate to contact my office at 804-362-2476. I have a feeling she's not going to field my phone call. This concludes our firm's representation of you in this matter. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Sincerely, so-and-so. Well, fuck me, right?
I can't believe she said it was her pleasure to fuck you like that. Like,
it was.
Dude, holy shit.
God damn.
I mean, she got $2,000, so of course, you know.
Yeah, she was real happy about it. She didn't have to do anything for it either. She just had to show up and make an ass of herself.
Pretty much.
She's like, I got mine. I don't know what you gonna do. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm glad to get that off my chest, just so everyone knows what's the deal is. But that's a year of restrictions, and hopefully with this bullshit device that I have to have, it means I can go wherever I want with discretion and not have to worry about like enforceable driving hours. I can just get, as long as I prove I wasn't at a bar or I wasn't drinking by blowing into my fucking car now, which that's just embarrassing. I'm not going to ever drive anyone in my car again who I didn't already know before this, you know. It's, to explain, what's this? Is this a toy for your kid?
Be like, yeah.
It starts the car.
Get ready.
You don't got push to start, you got blow to start. That's futuristic.
Elon sent this personally.
It's going to get recalled in a month. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Well, so back to what brings you in here, and we've met again at a few mics, and I sat down to talk to you, and what's your friend's name?
Devin.
You and Devin have been to the Palm a few times, and we got to chopping it up after a couple mics, but you reached out on Instagram when I put that story up saying I'm not going to be able to travel for a while. I asked why, and I got into this DUI business, and you connected with me instantly over it. I was like grinning ear to ear as soon as we started texting. I don't know if that came across. I was like, oh fuck yes, there's someone I can talk to about this who's somewhat of an expert on the subject matter.
I'm an absolute fuck when it comes to driving. I had my first run-in with a DUI at 17. I was driving my dad's truck. I ran a blinking red, and I got hit by a minivan. Oh. And yeah.
Goodness.
That one was like, all right, I was 17, so I kind of, I took the punishment. My dad paid for everything. It was cool. But my first day in Virginia, I had just gotten out of the military. I came here. It was first Friday in Manassas, so I went out and I drove. I was just kind of looking to explore. And then I parked my car, and I was going back because I scored some coke, and I was going to take a bump, and I was going to call an Uber. I had the Uber on my phone, ready to call the Uber, and I went in the car. I took a bump, and I was sitting there. I was like, well, it says I'll get a ticket if I stay parked here, so I might as well drive back.
Yeah.
And so I was driving. I didn't know where I was. I didn't type my address into Google Maps. So I stopped at what was a red light at the time, and it turned green, and I was still stopped. And then I turned, and the cops pulled me over. And so they took me in. And I don't think anybody's a bad person for drinking and driving. There's a whole stigma behind that. Like, that's kind of fucked up. But I do think I was too fucked up to drive, and that's on me. Like, I deserved this one.
Gotcha.
But I went through everything. I didn't blow there. I blew at the station because I had already had a DUI in California where I learned you never blow in, like, at the scene.
Yeah.
So after that, I found this lawyer, and this is not a paid advertisement, but Damon D. Colbert is the best lawyer, total dog. He went in before my case. He outlined everything he was going to do to get it dismissed. So one of the things that they didn't do when they pulled me over is they didn't ask me if I wanted to take a field sobriety test. And that made everything after that kind of null and void because they didn't ask that. But on the day we showed up to court, the breath tech didn't show up. And he was like, listen, dude, you have a security clearance. You have a job that requires you to have a clearance. We could give you a reckless driving and ASAP classes, and you're done. Or we can take it to trial. And he's like, well, I think I could beat it. It's not set in stone that we're going to beat it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take the reckless driving because I was fucked up, and we'll go on it. On the body cam footage, you can tell I'm on coke. Like, I look fucked up. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want anybody to see this. If they play it in court, I'm done.
And that's another thing. I wanted them to play the body cam footage of me at the scene because I'm totally compliant the whole time. I look tired as fuck. I don't look drunk. I don't sound drunk. I just look exhausted. And that would have played into the whole theme of me literally falling asleep behind the wheel, which that's no condition to drive in either. But I was totally lucid. I was not drunk. I was not like exhibiting mannerisms of indicating that I was impaired because of alcohol, right?
Yeah.
But none of that. That didn't get brought up or brought in any of it. It's just like, it was totally just the state against me and this dumb fucking bitch, this incompetent fucking ass of a law degree, just an embarrassment of a law degrey. So, Damon, what's his name, Damon?
Damon D. Colbert.
Oh my God.
He is
what I wouldn't give for Damon in my corner.
I did a little bit of research, and the final running was between him and this guy named John Katz. And the reason I didn't go with John is because I met with John in person, and up until that point I had only talked to Damon on the phone, but I met with John, and John said something like, when I was like, how are we going to beat it? And I can't remember what he said, but he said something in that moment that made me look at him and say, he's not ready to fight this thing in trial, so I'm not going to go with him. But the first time I called Damon, he was asking me what happened, and he was like, what do you want to happen out of this? And I kind of beat around the bush, and he goes, no, what do you want to happen? I go, I want this thing to be dropped. And he goes, good, we can work together then. And that's when I knew. I was like, this dude's a dog. And he's like top 100 trial lawyers in the country, I think. Like, he posts his wins on his website, so you can see like what these people have been accused of and what they are now getting off with.
Yeah.
Like, he is. I'm actually going through a case right now, and I have him again. And because I also have a 30-day commuted sentence over my head, and if I get found guilty of this case, then I'm going to jail.
Yeah. But hey, you got somebody put some commissary on you?
Yeah. If you want to put commissary on my books, please, bro. Because I've spent so much money on court fees this year. I've easily spent over $15,000.
Goodness.
We got how many days? You said you got 30 days. We got 30 days to form a bond.
Yeah.
You so be hitting me up everybody like, what's up,
So in total, how many traffic incidents have you had?
Between
states.
Yeah, my traffic incidents span 3 states. It's pretty impressive at this age. I'm surprised I have a license.
How old are you again?
I'm 25.
25. Yeah, I'm 24.
Goddamn.
In Michigan, I got my first DUI at 17. And it looks like a DUI on my record, but I officially got a careless driving and an under 21 with a BAC. And that was, I had probation for a year, regular piss test every month, but I didn't have a car, so I didn't have to get an ignition interlock.
Yeah.
After that, I was a good boy for a couple years, but one for me to join the military, I was taking whippets behind the wheel of my Ford Taurus, and the first time I was just driving around, I hit it, and I held it in too long, and I blacked out, and I hit somebody's Yukon, and they were in it. And when I came to, the chick's at my window, and she goes, "Oh my God, were you asleep?" And I was like, yeah, I was sleeping. And the cops pulled up. I didn't have insurance on my car. And so they're like, "We're going to impound your car." I was like, okay, that's cool. The guys who ran the impound were my next door neighbors.
Oh, wow.
So I showed up. I was like, yeah, there was a misunderstanding. Yeah. I want my car out. And they gave it to me for like $200.
Wow.
And like 30 minutes later, I'm back in my car. I'm doing whippets, and I crash into the median. I swiped through like 3 lanes of traffic. Same 2 cops pulled up to the scene.
I kind of want them to put you under the jail.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I'm a fuck. I don't know. They were pissed, dude. I don't know if you've ever been kicked out of a city before, but they made me walk the opposite way. I was like, I live over there though, and they're like, "Nope, you're not coming back here." And they just pointed, and so I just had to walk down the street.
For good reason.
So I called my first lawyer I had. His name is John McNally. He's a personal friend to me. He's a great man. He goes, "I will make this go away for you, but you have to join the military." Yeah. And so the next day I enlisted, and then I enlisted. We had court pretty quick, and then 10 days after my court date, I was in basic training. Then I get to California, and I'm pretty solid for a year. The military gave me like $20,000 when I enlisted, and so I was, oh man, I did so many terrible things with that money, dude. I was gambling, I was going to strip clubs, I did a lot of coke in the military, all things that you don't want your military members to do. Were you
in the Marine Corps?
No, I was in the Navy. I was on a submarine.
Got you.
And so part of being on a submarine is you have to get qualified, and you get a warfare device, and we call them dolphins. And it's people on submarines will say it's just like getting a SEAL Trident. It's not like getting a SEAL Trident. The dolphins are basically like, I know everything about a submarine. I can tell you like how much, like we have to pressurize a hose to 65 pounds in order to put out a fire, like stuff like that. But part of the tradition is you get your fish and then you drink your fish. So I went out, I drank my fish, and then after a minute I really didn't want to be there anymore because one of the guys I was with, he was weird, and so I left. I was like, fuck you, I'm out. And I got pulled over. They pulled me over because my headlights were off. I wasn't driving poorly or anything, and my headlights were off. They smelled the alcohol. They threw me in jail.
And I'm sorry, maybe I'm just stupid. What does drinking your fish mean exactly?
You take the warfare device. It's a metal pin, and the first time they pin them on you is at the pinning ceremony. Yeah. And so after that, you go out, you drop them in beer, and you drink them. And you're not supposed to swallow them. You're supposed to catch them in your mouth or leave them in the beer bottle or beer mug, and it's kind of like baptizing them. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, so until you get your fish, you're getting hazed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. So
you guys were having fun.
Yeah, we were. It was a celebration. It was great. I was up for a promotion too. I lost that. I lost my rank. I lost a lot more in the military than I ever did as a civilian for fucking up with the law. But so that all happens, and then I go on deployment, and they try my case. I'm not there. I get a lawyer. I wish my lawyer would have taken it to trial because I think I could have gotten off on it because I blew kind of high. It was a .10, but they pulled me over not because I was driving bad, but because I was because my headlights were off. And California has a law about military deferment, and I'm 90% disabled because of substance abuse issues and other things. Really? Yeah. So, I could have gotten the deferment, but he told me I wasn't eligible for it, so I took the DUI, and it was what it was. When I got out though, when I came here, I haven't had a license for like months. I just got my license back because Michigan doesn't acknowledge California's DUI laws, so they never suspended my license. And when I came here and tried to get a Virginia license, California was like, nope, you're suspended. And Virginia apparently follows that. So I just got my license back.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I got pulled over and found out I didn't have a license.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of in that situation right now too with this new restriction because I had to hand over my license after court, and I'm without a license. I just have paperwork expressing that I have like 15 days as of the sentencing to file for a restricted license through the DMV. So like the paperwork serves as a license, but I'm kind of in that boat of like, I don't know how to get ID'd or anything in the meantime.
Right? Like
people, I guess if someone needs to identify me, I'll just use my social security card or whatever. But, like,
so if you have an out-of-state license and you get something like a DUI in another state or do an offense, they can't take your license. So I always had the piece of plastic. But if they ran the piece of plastic, they'd find out it was bad.
They'd be like, why you ain't got no license? And it's like, dummy, I fucking just gave it to you.
Yeah.
You're holding it. What are you talking about? Why don't I have a license?
Yeah.
Like that shit happened to me. So it turns out New Mexico is able to suspend a Maryland license, but then when I moved to Virginia, I got a Virginia license. So I don't even know.
Yeah, dude, it's weird going from state to state like that because some states don't acknowledge the way other states do things. And like, I feel like for this topic, they should all be kind of on the same page. Like, if my license shouldn't be good in Michigan but bad in California, you know?
Yeah, nah, fuck it, let it cook.
Yeah.
So you're sort of in limbo right now, or are you going to classes? What's going on?
I just finished today my 14th class for ASAP. That's kind of cool, but it's also like really shitty because they marked it down to a reckless driving. Like I don't need to go to like 19 classes, but it's helped me because now I haven't drank. I've been trying to be a sober person since I got the DUI in California because at this point I got to look at it like look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, okay, you kind of have a problem. Like you're not out beating women and shit, but you keep getting behind the wheel and being an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, and that shows improvement. Just you acknowledging that here, unprompted. I didn't ask you to say that you have a problem or do you think you have a problem, but you're acknowledging that, right? So, not knowing you prior, I would assume that you operated it for a time, telling people you don't have a problem or telling people that you're fine to, do as much coke or do as many whippets or whatever, as much as you want. But now you're realizing, okay, well, it's not going to hurt anybody if I rein it in, if I dial back and get to a healthy place with this sort of drug use, or at least, not to a point of crashing my car. Yeah,
if I could like sit back in my crib and like I can like drink and chill, like that's fine. Nobody's going to get hurt if I black out in the crib. The problem is I'll start drinking and I'll be like, fuck it, I'm going to the bar. Fuck it, I'm going to a casino. Yeah. Like, I'll just start driving.
I don't have those same impulses, mainly because I think I said this I'm broke. So it's like I am drinking at home and now I'm fucking going to bed. So it's like, because I don't have gas or I don't have, I don't have gambling money. So, but that's interesting to think, is that sort of a natural pipeline for you, or has that always been how you've operated? I started smoking weed when I was like 12 years old, so like I couldn't tell you the last time I've spent an entire year sober, and that's my goal right now. Like I want to spend a year sober and like doing shit. I don't want this to turn into Dr. Phil.
No.
So 12 years old, that's alarming to me. With who? With friends? Or
yeah, it was. I grew up in Detroit, and so like 12-year-old smoking weed.
You don't have
that was normal.
Detroit, that's okay. The water was fucked too, so that probably did.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so you're doing it in Detroit with who?
With just like a lot of them are dead or homeless now. Like the original people that I started smoking weed with, like ended up going on to other things.
Yeah.
And I never got into anything like opiates because I saw them doing it, and I saw like what it was doing to like people who I knew before the opiates.
Yeah.
So like I kind of moved on from weed to like taking acid and taking Molly and shit. But once that kind of lost its luster and I started drinking more, that's when things became a bigger issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I grew up in this area here pretty much all my life. And
I hear meth's big around here.
Well, Virginia, West Virginia, this is like the meth zone, and heroin too is a little.
Yeah.
But and now with fentanyl and opiates.
Yeah, they really fucked up coke with the fentanyl too.
You think so?
Whoever's putting fentanyl in the coke, like stop, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on.
Saying you can't trust it. I got you.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it just like threw off because there's so much good fentanyl out there. It's throwing off the coke market.
I'm sure it's great, dude. But I don't want to hit a line and go to take the last nap of my life. You know, like.
I hear it's peaceful. I hear fentanyl, you just go to sleep. I hear it's peaceful.
Yeah, you do just go to sleep and then you never wake up again.
So if I go to jail, put some fentanyl on my commissary, whatever. Sneak it in with the stamps or whatever.
Shit, boy, hell nah, because they be opening them shits. Yeah. They be looking for the mail. They be like, what's in here? What's that?
Oh my gosh.
They be like, this is from who? Lorenzo Taylor.
So 12 years old, that's middle school age, whereabouts, and you're just, is it at school that you're finding people who have a shared interest of
it started, so my parents drug tested me before I ever started smoking weed. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was hanging out with people who had already smoked weed, but I was too afraid of my parents to smoke weed. And then they drug tested me, and one of the guys, he looked at me and he goes, dude, you just got the pass. He's like, you can smoke as much weed as you want and they're never going to test you again because you passed. That was a lie. I spent all of my teenage years getting drug tested like twice a month and failing like twice a month.
And what are they doing? What's the recourse?
Dude, one time they took my door off the hinges. Yeah. They said privacy was a privilege. Mm-hmm. My junior year was probably the worst because I invited some friends over and we didn't even smoke weed. We smoked cigars in the backyard. Mm-hmm. And I was a halfway decent wrestler. That year I went like 27-4. I was something ridiculous. And so my parents found out, they looked outside and in the snow there was ashes. So they accused me of smoking weed. I was like, no, we didn't smoke weed. We smoked cigars. They're like, we're going to drug test you. And so I fessed up. I was like, listen, I smoked weed like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They drug tested me and I passed. And then, but they wouldn't let me wrestle at states. Oh. So I lost that opportunity. But they would take that. That's how they would punish me. Like after hitting me wouldn't work, they would just start taking away things that I liked. Mm-hmm. And at the time, that was it.
This is good insight for me. I don't know why you're laughing. He's like, I'm serious because I don't want to say too much because it's not really any of my business because it's not like my son. But my brother, who's across the hall, he's out right now with friends, I'm sure, doing everything you're describing. But he's got a similar situation right now where his door has to stay open at night because my mom has caught him or gotten wind of that he's smoking weed, and there's like a possibility to going down a larger drug pipeline after that, But I mean, he's only a sophomore in high school. And that's, just for my family, it's sort of like unheard of because I wasn't cool enough to find drugs or to figure that out. So it's just sort of like, it's new territory for my mom. And, she's looking for, what to do or asking around.
The best thing to do about it is like, the more I got caught, the more I would find other ways to get high. My parents used to do this thing where they'd find my shit and then they would put it on my bed. Like I was just gonna go up to them and be like, I see you found my weed. I would take it and I'd throw it away. Yeah. And they'd bring it up and I'd be like, what are you talking about? So like I think if they would have let me just kind of act out a little bit, it would have been more of a phase than a personality trait. But because every time I did it, I got a reaction from them, I got some form of attention that I was probably craving, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. And also smoking weed is awesome. I had the most fun times of my life in high school just getting stoned.
Yeah. I mean, were your parents, were they largely like workaholic types, or were they busy? Were they?
My mom is an iron worker, and my parents are divorced. My stepdad, they had custody of me. My stepdad's a corrections officer, so he could turn over a room like nobody's business. He was fucking. I was a terrible criminal because he'd always catch me. He would. There was fucking.
Yeah, that's what he's doing, right?
Yeah,
finding contraband. So
yeah, he was fucking great at that.
Okay, but you're saying you think it's maybe in some small part due to you didn't have attention that you. I
have 5 older brothers.
Oh, I see.
And so like I think it was a way to act out.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, everybody smokes weed. I was just cooler than my brothers who weren't smoking.
Again, Detroit is like the denominator, the underlining factor.
But yeah, my parents were hearing about these kids. Like I went to a school where I got on the bus one day and there was this girl who was nodding off because she had just shot up. Yeah. Like 16 years old. And so I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Like,
what I'm doing is good by comparison.
Yeah, but I would like skip school and go get high or fucking whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty much what my brother's on right now. And thankfully, it's not anything worse than that. But at the same time, it's alarming to my mom because she's like, where's this coming from? Like, who are you hanging around with? Or where, like, what? She just doesn't know what could have brought this on. Yeah, she's trying to figure it out.
I'd rather have a kid who's smoking weed than drinking because it's a lot easier to drive stoned than it is to drive drunk.
Oh, yeah. I've done both. Yeah. I'll testify to that right now, as long as I'm not going through a court case.
Yeah, right.
And that's why I feel comfortable enough talking about it, because I don't feel like it's the end of the world, or it's not really stigmatized as much as it used to be. I will say the only thing about smoking weed that does give me pause is this whole business about like frontal lobe development that they say, if you're like smoking before 25 or something, because the frontal lobe part of the brain is developing for that entire period of time and stops development. They say it could alter in some way. So
I would say I would think that's true. I think like I don't think anybody should start smoking weed at 12 years old. Yeah, that's a stupid decision.
I'm not a neuroscientist or neurologist, none of that. But I think too, part of that is impulse control and decision making is impulse control is inhibited by drug use at a young age, because you're factoring in all the different responses you're getting, positive signals to your brain of how good everything feels, the reward responses, but then in addition to inhibition of brain development that's causing you to think that this is something that you're reinforcing is good, and that you want access to more than you might have wanted access to if you tried it when you were, say, like 30 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not realistic to think that anybody when they're that old is going to want to start drugs.
Hey, that midlife crisis hits, and it hits hard.
But those people are, if they're not just addictive personality types, they'll go, okay, let me try smoking weed, and then it just becomes like a casual hobby, like once a month for them, as opposed to somebody starting at a young age going, this is a personality trait now, because it's like it's totally built into their brain at that point.
Yeah, 100%. I think I would have less addictive tendencies had I not messed with the stuff I did at such a young age. And when I started smoking weed, K2 was big, and they sold that shit at gas stations. So we would go in and we would pick somebody who would go behind the counter and steal it, but the rest of us would be in charge of like making a distraction. So we'd go to like this gas station, we'd get like a Slurpee, and then we'd throw it on the ground. We'd be like, hey, someone made a mess, so they'd have to come out from behind the counter.
Wow.
And our friend would go in and steal it.
That's genius.
Yeah, we were little criminals.
Oh my god,
Man,
that fucking spice is surreal, bruh.
Yeah,
dude. I know people that used to do that shit. My man's, he be in the fucking bathroom floor like shaking and shit. I'd be like, I would never do that shit.
Dude, I watched somebody have a seizure off of it once.
Really?
Yeah,
And
bruh.
I called an ambulance for him. I didn't know what to do. Like, he's
What
having
did
a
I do?
seizure. I'm 12 years old, so I did what I thought. I called 911. I was like, yo, this guy's here. He's going to die. And they showed up. Cops show up. And then these two, the guy he's with, picks him up, throws him over his shoulder, and just starts booking it, dude, just running. And they got away from the cops somehow. But then for the next 6 months, people keep coming up to me and they're like, yo, dude, you're going to get jumped today after school.
'Cause you
they're
called-
coming for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they thought I called the cops on him.
God.
But I was just trying to get the dude an ambulance. I didn't know cops were going to show up.
Yo.
Yeah. I mean,
And we did that
911
at an
universal
elementary
number.
school.
An elementary school?
Yeah.
You were in middle school, but you were at like a...
Yeah, we were like hanging out at an elementary school and doing drugs on a playground. Like that's how young we were. Like, we still hung out at playgrounds.
Yeah. No, that's...
Oh my god, bro.
I could sit and
That's
talk to you
wild.
and just and ask questions and get your whole life story up to this point, because this is really... There's something there. This is all... Man... I'm not usually at a loss for words like this. But.
Oh, dude, I'm 25 and I've lived such a fucking crazy life. I went to seminary school for a little bit. That was a trip, because I went to seminary school because I did acid and I had a religious experience, and it totally fucked up my life. I basically donated $40,000 to this school. And yeah, because after a little bit, because I was on probation after the DUI, I showed up to seminary school on probation, and like I didn't fit in there. After like 6 months, after the first semester, so like 3 months actually, my grades were shit. I wasn't doing anything, but I was sober. I came home on winter break, started getting fucked up. I brought back weed and like drinks to school. And like I would get drunk by myself and I would smoke weed, and it's sad, but my grades improved so much. I was such a better student, fucking stoned, and I would get called on it. These guys would be like, "Bro, you smell like weed," and I'd be like, "Yeah."
No, I mean, it's a lot of people, a lot of really smart people use weed as a way to take the edge off, or mellow out, whatever. I mean, I know people who were like astrophysicists over at like George Mason and shit, that it's like every weekend they're like, oh, we're gonna smoke and I can hang out and I'll have some left over for the week because it's finals week or whatever. I'm doing a lot of studying. I need this right now. So it's not. I think I said it's not something that's stigmatized. Like it used to be, smoking weed anyway.
Yeah.
And I think for good reason. I think it's got great medicinal purposes. It's got, it allows you to, in your case, think a niche example, it'll allow you to perform better in school. It's not the end of the world. It's not what it used to be. But I can't, I can't reinforce how crazy it is to learn at 12 years old.
Yeah.
12, and then that kicks it all off.
Yeah, think about what my parents were going through. They like my oldest.
And then you have 5 siblings, or you're one of 5?
Yeah, I have 5 siblings.
Yeah.
My oldest brother actually became a doctor, and he was a Division I athlete. He was a track star. My other brother Ryan, he's in the Army right now, but he was also a really talented football player. he got offers from D2 schools, but he wanted to go somewhere else. And I came from a house that was very like well managed, and I just was not. I was the biggest fuck.
Can I tell you though? Can I tell you my dad has 4 brothers, so he's one of 5, and it's his youngest brother that's like the crazy off the wall like drug addict, right? And it's that thing of, okay, I'm not to say like the runt of the litter, but just like I'm the afterthought, or everyone else has got their lives and they're going on to go to in high school when I'm just starting in my first year of fucking middle school or last year of elementary school, or everyone's so far ahead of me, no one has time or focus for any of my endeavors or accomplishments, because it's been seen already 4 times over, right? It's not as special, or it doesn't seem as special to anybody. And not being able to understand that or reconcile that, there is some sort of connection between drug use or quote unquote acting out and attention seeking behavior, and wanting to make your life seem more special in some way, or more just get eyes on you and get anyone to engage with you in ways that they're not. But it's all subliminal. Would you say? You're not doing that. You're not seeking that shit out expressly to get somebody's attention, but you do realize, oh fuck, like this shit is different. What I'm doing is different than anything that my brothers are doing, or that they've admitted to me anyway. And I'm onto something here. Like this is this is a new lane.
Like this is gonna be where I am. And it was a good place to be, but I think I had a lot more fun than the other guys did. Not even just like being, because I got to be creative with it. At some point my parents stopped giving me money because they knew what I was going to go buy weed with it. So I swiped some diamond drill bits from Home Depot.
Really?
And I would buy glass bottles, and I would drink whatever was in the glass bottle. I'd drill it out, and I would put in like a socket from a socket wrench set in there, and then I'd sell it as a pipe. And that's how I would make money, is I would go around and I'd sell pipes to my friends and other people.
And you'd think your parents would see that and go, let's put him into engineering for kids. Let's get him with the robotics team, or something.
They just took my diamond drill bits away. I still want them bitches back too. Those were nice.
What the hell? That's crazy. That would never cross my mind. And people who do shit like that, who are like innovative enough to find all these creative loopholes, that's just wild, man. At some point I wanted to get into the your submarine experience, because we did the 2 or 3 episode arc on the Titan submersible disaster.
Oh, no way.
All that shit. But would you come back?
Dude, I will. I'll totally talk sub shit any day of the week.
Let's do it, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
But we're at an hour and a half here. My software's been acting up lately, so I don't want to push it and possibly lose the whole recording.
Yeah, I feel that.
Fucking thank you so much for coming through,
dude.
CJ.
Thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
This has been a wild ride from start to finish.
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad we made it happen, and we'll do it again soon. But at the end of the episode here, we do a little segment where Lorenzo gives people advice based on things we've talked about. So I think there's a lot.
You can unpack a lot of shit here.
But go for it. You got the song playing.
All right, I'm gonna hit y'all with some advice. I'm gonna hit you with the obvious ones first.
Yeah, please.
Don't do drugs when you're 12.
Maybe not.
How about that? I don't know. I think most kids started like. Nah, let's be real. Most kids started 12. But how about we don't do it?
If we're being real, most kids start.
They be starting at like
the 7th grade,
like 14. Yeah. I feel like 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we gotta be real about it. It's young, but like.
That was the thing too. I never got my hands on anything, and that's just the God's honest truth. But there were kids. There was some strange shit going on at school for me. Like there was this one kid who would bring around this. he would, in like the toy capsules you get from like coin dispensers or like the coin machines, right? He would bring this red liquid in all sorts of different like rubber ball capsules, But like, I'm talking about the shit you get from like CC's Pizza, right? Like that. But he would fill them up with red liquid, and he would call it like liquid like lollipops or liquid candy. That's what he called it, liquid candy. And he would sell it to people for like a quarter or for like 50 cents. And you would drink it and be like, okay, this shit's pretty good. But like, it wasn't cough syrup, but it looked like cough syrup, but it tasted like honey. And you didn't know how this was just some little white kid, fucking tooth missing, like clearly an issue of a child. But I had shit like that happen, but never was it like, okay, here's K2 or here's like some fucking, here's some poppers to try, snort this, so I don't know how it happens for people, but I'm glad it did for you. Clearly we wouldn't have you here. Everything up to this point led you here, and we're happy for it. And I think that's the best advice the song's over, so that was really the only piece of advice you got to give. But I think it's the most important, probably. And don't drink and drive. If I can say anything at the end here, this is not an endorsement of drunk driving or driving under the influence.
Yeah, please don't.
But cops are not your friend. If you do happen to find yourself in a situation.
That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
The cops are not your friend. That's the most important. Do what you want to at 12. I don't give a fuck what you do at 12. Smoke at 10, I don't give a fuck. The cops are not your friend. Unless you pay them. And then
unless you can pay them off. This is an endorsement of bribing police officers.
Yeah, and if you do get in a situation, call Damon D. Colbert. I promise he'll get you off.
I need his number. Holy shit. I just in my back pocket. All right, man. Thank you for coming through.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, y'all. Bye-bye. If I can get my shit together. Deuces.